How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another video, and we are doing another top 5 yet again with D3. Say hi.
Hey! That's it.
What's up? Just a hey.
You said say hi, so this time I'll actually listen.
The intros are getting shorter and shorter every time. I don't know if you probably noticed. And I remembered what you said last time. It was thanks to be here.
Oh, that was time before last.
Yeah, that was the time before the last. That's what we were trying to remember last time. But yeah, today we are taking a look at the physical types, and we normally, we didn't do this for the other ones, but we did have an honourable mention this time round, and that honourable mention is Arale. She is actually a very solid unit. She is low-key, yes, a low-key rainbow leader. She gives free key to rainbow, all types, obviously, as well as a 30% stat boost. However, that isn't that significant at all. I'm pretty sure you've tried to run an Arale lead before, and you only have around 90k HP. Is that right?
I think you max out at like 110, 120-ish, which is still good, but not even really that. It's just the statistical decrease that you have due to running double Arale at 30%. I mean, that's not even equivalent to running one mono lead. I mean, it's a little more than running like the hero and villain leads, the general ones, the Vegito and the Rose, but, you know, running double, your unit's going to be a lot stronger, so
it's not significant. Yeah, it's not significant enough to make a real difference, but she has a decent link set. She has shocking speed, which is becoming more common in a monophysical team. It obviously depends on what you want to run. 120% attack boost, and her super attack is also farmable. But I think the problem is because she doesn't have that many shared attack links apart from Fierce Battle, she isn't going to hit as hard as was demonstrated in that video. I think in that video that they showed, she was linked up with General Blue or something, and she hit for around 800k against Janemba, I think it was. But because she doesn't have those attack links active the majority of the time in a monophysical team, it obviously does affect her damage output, which doesn't make her hit as hard as she normally would, obviously. But she's still a great unit, and definitely deserves an honourable mention, because I think she's underrated to a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, top tier leader skill, rainbow all types. She is not the rainbow god leader, you know, that'll probably happen at some point.
Yeah,
but yeah, but I mean, it's still a really good, you know, leader skill. You can run whatever you want on her team, basically. There's no restriction to it. That being said, she is still, you know, a really, really hard hitter, immense, 120% up. She deserves a slot on most lists.
Yeah.
So.
And, yeah, sorry. Number 5, we have a rather new unit. We have the physical support Trunks, or the Gallic Gun Trunks. He is probably one of the best support units in the game. I would say he's slightly behind regular Vegito, just because he doesn't provide as big of a boost. But keep in mind that he does give a 20% attack boost when you super attack with him, as well as a 20%...
But Alex, he's shit! He doesn't hit hard!
Keep in mind, he has a farmable super attack. That's the thing. The thing about some people is that they value just attack over support units, and they don't understand that by having a support unit, you can increase the amount of damage that a specific unit can do. Take Vegito on a monotech team, for example, and when you have units like Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and LR Goku, they can do so much damage, easily over 1 million if you have the right setup. And I definitely feel like people undervalue support units. I did say in my video that the support Trunks was better than the Tech Gallic Gun Vegeta, because he is. At Super Attack 10, he hits harder than Vegeta at Super Attack 1, and take into account that Trunks at the time did have a farmable super attack. So obviously, again, we're not going to consider that he did farm the super attack, but the majority of people that did are going to have a hard hitting Trunks as well as a great support unit. And if I'm not mistaken, he also gives a 20% attack and defensive boost to all types, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Or is it 25?
You mean his passive? Yeah, I think it's 25% to all types via the passive, attack and defense, I'm pretty sure. 20% up on the super attack. So he's basically Vegito, but not as powerful. And the same rules and stipulations apply to this guy as Vegito. Like Alex said, people look at it and say, oh, well, this guy should be higher because he hits harder. Bro, that's not how this works, right? I would rather have, and this should generally be the mantra, a unit that gives my other units 45% more attack, so my Gotenks can go from hitting for, this is just random spitball numbers, of course, low balls, high balls, you know, going from hitting for like 600k, for example, to hitting for 850k. And not only him, but my other unit that's on the field as well, while the Trunks can still hit relatively hard. That's the difference between a supporting unit and an offensive unit. You would generally rather have your whole field hitting harder than just one unit hitting harder. So that being said, Trunks being one of the only units that can buff to this degree, attack and defense-wise, totally deserves a slot here. He's not going to hit that hard. He's going to probably, assuming that you don't farm a super attack, he'll probably hit for like 120k, just like Tech Vegito, something like that. But I take that, if it means that my Broly, for example, on Monophysical is hitting for 300 plus each super attack when he generally hits for like a 220-ish. So
it's definitely worth it, especially like with units now, like Vegito Blue. If he can get multiple super attacks off with that attack boost, he can
tank a little bit better too with that defense.
Tank a little bit better. It's the exact same with Vegito on Monotech. LR Goku gets a decent defensive boost, and then obviously with the boost that he gets from Vegito, he can tank even more, which is obviously extremely useful because you want to take the least amount of damage as possible.
Correct.
But yeah, Trunks is an extremely solid unit. I feel like I think a lot of us feel like he's underrated just because he is a support unit. I think that support units are extremely underrated, especially in this day and age of Dokkan, because of the amount of hard hitters that every team basically has now. Take a look at villain teams; they don't have too much support. And it's the exact same with as heroes, but it's definitely viable to run a support unit, especially to buff your other extremely hard hitters. And yeah, he's a great unit overall.
Yeah, and then when you look at just on the last little bit here, if you look at the mono team he's run on, you can't really throw too many units above him. He's definitely an optimal choice for that group. Just mono physical.
Physical is such a weird type. I feel like there's just so many different units, but they don't tend to link well with each other.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times they don't link very well, so what you want to do with physical, just to get them optimal setup and general support and stuff like that, is run like an all Super Saiyan team if you can. But you do have units like Raleigh, who hits really hard, Full Power Frieza, who hits really, really hard, which should be on this list somewhere. But they don't link very well, and then you can kind of get on the outskirts of that and say units that have really, really good supporting passives that have really bad restrictions, like Kid Buu, stuff like that. So Physical's a really weird group.
Yeah. So, in the number 4 spot, you actually brought him up a few seconds ago, we have Full Power Frieza.
Hey, there he is. I knew he was here somewhere.
And again, like we mentioned it a few moments ago, but the problem with him and just the entire physical type basically is the links. There are a few situations where you could potentially want a certain unit like the Kaiken Goki from the World Tournament to obviously link with him and provide orbs for him and other units, and you can actually run a decent setup with Full Power Frieza and Goku Black, because Goku Black obviously does require orbs to deal a ton amount of damage, a big amount of damage rather, and obviously Frieza also links with him, and it kind of does help a bit. But it's not optimal because there are other units that can potentially hit harder than Frieza. So is it, in the end, I do think it's worth to have a unit that is more consistent than one that is going to hit hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like, consistency goes basically through the length of the battle, and the problem with Full Power Frieza is he's really weird. They could have given him better links. That being said, once again, looking at his mono team, they do have a couple of units that he can run with to where he should be able to super consistently in Kaioken and Vegito Blue. Yeah, so it should work out fine there, which is kind of what nudges him above Arale in my opinion. Not to mention that he gets better orb, dupe system orb increases than Arale would. But the fact that on his mono team there are a couple units that can satiate him and allow him to get super attacks consistently. But the difference between him and somebody like Goku Black is they link better, just flat out all around, like prepare for battle and things like that, to where if you don't spawn with one of those units, or you don't own one of those units, for example, Full Power Frieza is going to be kind of left for dead. And that, the thing about it is, too, is like the other team you'd run him on is the villain team. He doesn't even link very well with the villain team, and without being able to link well with those guys, sometimes he's kind of in a situation where he can't super attack. Like, I found that you can run him on double black team, like where you're running Rose leads, but you really can't run him if you're running like a Zamasu lead and a Rose black, double black or something like that with the Zamasu lead. It doesn't work as well because there'll just be situations where he's 1 or 2 keys short. So it's all due to links. He doesn't have most of them. He does have Over and Flash, which is a top tier link. It's not very prevalent where he's at. Yeah.
Yeah. So and isn't he the only villain with that link?
Majin Vegeta, I believe, but you're not going to run Majin Vegeta.
he's such a weird choice because normally that link is given to forms that don't last very long. I don't understand why they gave it to Majin Vegeta. I think he's just a one-off, and they just needed to give him a link, maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
It was such a weird choice. He is definitely the only unit with that link that has a form that can be sustained. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's weird. Majin Vegeta could have sustained that.
Anyway, in the number 3 spot, we have Goku Black. Rose basically is just a unit that allows you to optimize him. Obviously, we aren't talking about Rose here. But Goku Black is just a complete beast. He has a farmable super attack. Prepared for battle, we mentioned earlier, Donnie mentioned earlier that he fits extremely well into a monophysical team. He gets like 3,000 attack boost per orb collected, so when you do combine that with an orb changer like Kaioken Goku or the physical Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, it obviously increases the amount of damage that he can do. And when you take into consideration the dupe system, his buffs just get even bigger. And he is obviously the physical demigod. Pardon me. And yeah, I mean, what else do you have to say about him?
Not really much left to say. I mean, he has really good links. Yeah. It's the thing about...
He's just basically another hard-hitting unit.
Yeah, pretty much. He's another generic hard-hitting nuke-type character. The thing about all of the Zamasu units, well, I guess aside from STR, because he's kind of the outlier, the Merge Zamasu, Goku Black, and Rose Goku Black, the thing about them is they have really, really good links in that they have Prepared for Battle and then a Super Saiyan on Rose, and then you have all of the villain links like Big Bad Bosses, Nightmare, Fear and Faith. It's like...
all the big ones.
Yeah, exactly. So they just fit anywhere. So that being said, same kind of applies to this guy, just regular Goku Black. He's going to hit really, really hard. He does have a farmable super attack. He also does a debuff, which is, it's common on villains, but it does make a really, really big difference on monophysical because they don't have very many units that do that. So that being said, he's a really, really good partner for Vegito Blue because he's going to lower the enemy's attack as well. So, you see this physical team start to round itself out with some of these units, and it's not really debatable to that point with Goku Black being there because he's just flat out one of the best units in the game, period.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. So, this is where some people are going to debate because people just like to debate what we say for these number 2 spots and number 1s. But in second place, we do have Broly, right? He does have the leader skill for the physical team, but he's just not that good. He's very plain. If it wasn't for his double super attack, he'd be terrible. He only hits for 190k per super attack.
I think it's funny that I think Broly is the only one out of all of these teams that isn't the best card for their type.
Yes, exactly. He isn't the best card for his own type. That's how tragic it is. Oh, I kind of feel bad for him. I don't know what they were thinking when they made him. He would be so much better if he had immense damage.
Yeah, if he had immense damage, he'd be the best unit, period, for his group.
And I will say that he does benefit a lot from the dupe system, but you are going to be prioritising other units over him, let's be honest. Like Goku Black, Full Power Frieza, who, as you said, benefits way more than the newer units. Vegito Blue, if you are going to prioritise Broly, it's not exactly a bad decision. But I wouldn't, because he isn't the best unit of this type, as I just shown you guys. Well, as we just shown you guys, and there are definitely better options to prioritize your orbs on. But Broly is just second to Vegito Blue, isn't he?
He is. Well, the thing about Broly is, I don't want to hark on him too much. The dude does get good orb system increases. He does hit relatively hard. He can get a third additional super attack. All things considered, he does have the leader skill for the monophysical team, the God leader skill. It's just Broly came out at a time where Bandai was very cautious and they weren't giving out, better increases on attack and stuff like that. As far as, his passive, he gets 7,000, but now every unit has an unconditional 100%. It's like...
If he came out now, he'd be much better.
Yeah, exactly. If he came out now, he would probably have immense. He'd probably have 80% up, passive, probably, something like that, just spitballing once again, and he'd round out as a better unit. But that being said, it's just kind of attributed to when he came out, which more or less is the inverse for Super Vegito, who came out at the exact same time, because that guy still is really, really good. I think that Bandai tried to really balance it. I swear that they did, and they wanted one to be an offensive unit, and well, I think they just wanted one to be an offensive unit, and they didn't want Broly to be overpowered because, you know, 3 attacks, immense, and like they didn't want him to be too good. But Vegito, he just rounds out to be a unit that just is perfect in most regards. So he's still kind of like the best card, or one of the best cards, depending on your opinion. So that can't really be said for Broly. But that being said, Broly will age well. He is still one of the hardest hitters in the game due to the additional attack, and then the ability to get a third attack on top of that. The additional attack is kind of like a pseudo 100% up, if you will, because it's going to hit just as hard as the initial one. So he's still a really good unit, just isn't the best for his type. And that is kind of unfortunate, because if you look at all these types, I mean, spoiler for STR, Omega will be the best one there because he's Omega. And then you look at the ones we've done, Buhan is at the top, and then you have Super Vegito, like all their respective leaders are at the best units of their group. So, but I don't want to take anything away from Broly. It's just the next unit can be the best unit in the game for sometimes.
Oh my! We were literally talking about this before. Vegito Blue. Oh my god! Like, I'll admit, everyone initially thought that he was going to be better than Royce, but as soon as we saw that RNG passive, no. What have you done, Bandai? It's like they purposely tried like to make him underpowered. Like, they didn't try to make him too overpowered, if you know what I mean. And I have said this on several occasions, but I feel like he is a product of the dupe system, and to fully optimize him, you have to fully max him out on the orb system, and that has been shown several times, I believe. You were actually using a really, really good Vegito Blue earlier on, and he was just insane. He was super attacking like so many times, and he was just being a good unit.
Yeah, the thing about Vegito Blue is, as I said, the man can be the best unit in the game on some turns. I mean, if you look at him, the guy can get 3 or 4 super attacks depending on, you know, the dupe system and stuff like that. He can also counter multiple times, so he can knock out a whole bunch of damage in a short amount of time. It's just the likelihood of all of that happening is totally inconsistent because it's based on luck. It's random. That being said, you know, he can't really tank as well either, so his counters are less viable. You know, given the scenario, I mean, if you look at him on his villain mono team, it's a lot more. He's a hero. Excuse me. I meant on the hero team, it's not as survivable as it would have been if he was on a villain's team with that passive, because he would have had Omega Shenron and all those attack debuffers to where it would have worked out a lot easier. On heroes, I mean, they just got that new Vegeta, which I kind of can see being something that helps him out, but it does have a restriction on the events that you can use it on. Yeah, so I can kind of see it, but not really. It's just, the thing about the tanking is the guy still takes a buttload of damage. So what's the point of taking counters, right, if you're not going to be able to survive through the hits? I've always said that with this unit, and he has so much potential. He's always had so much potential. It's just Bandai outwardly shafted him. They didn't want to make him too good. I mean, yeah, and they didn't want to make him too good, and I understand why. I mean, the mechanics are crazy. I mean, but if you look at him, he doesn't get any attack increases or anything like that because they were so scared of this unit coming out hitting for 300k 4 times a turn and then getting all these 250, 320k, whatever it is, counterattacks. They were so scared of that they had to make the chances for all that to happen so unlikely. You know, and then you factor in the possibility for critical hits. This guy can critical hit on each of his 4 attacks if he wanted to. He can critical hit on counters. It's just like, he can be so incredibly good. So
yeah,
we talk negatively.
Like, really good for one turn.
Exactly, like we talk negatively about him, but all things considered, he's still the best physical unit in the game.
Easily, and he obviously does have that leader skill for hero types. And I feel like people try to compare him way too much to Super Vegito because he is clearly a much more offensive unit compared to the regular Super Vegito, and that's why I think people are a bit let down because he isn't basically another Super Vegito. But if he was, I feel like people would complain anyway, because, oh look, it's just basically the same unit.
You know I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be bad, but it'd be like, okay, so you've basically brought out another Super Vegeta that can attack multiple times.
That would have been dope. I don't know what you're talking about. It would probably be better.
It would have been dope.
It would have probably been better than what he is.
It would have broken the game even more, but at the same... Like, I personally wouldn't have minded that, but... I know that a lot of people do try to compare the two because of how like different they are. They look at Super Vegito and like, look at how much he can tank, and he can still, you know, take do a decent amount of damage. But then you have a look at Vegito Blue. You can't tank anywhere near as well as the regular Super Vegito, and you obviously have the RNG super attacks, which again just brings him down.
Yeah, that's a really bad mechanic. But all in all, like we said, he's an amazing unit, period. Point of the video is that Vegito units are OP.
Yeah, there you go. But I think we've pretty much covered everything. We have the honourable mention, Trunks, Full Power Frieza, Goku Black, Broly, and Vegito Blue. And yeah, next is STR, right?
Yeah, STR, that's the last one, I think.
Well, yeah.
Of this series.
Of this series, yeah. Well, we hope you guys did enjoy this one, and I will leave the Freeze channel linked in the comment section down below as always, and you can go complain over there. But I hope you all have a great day, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.